Δύο. Χαίρετε. Καλησπέρα σας. Hello, everybody. I would like to thank the Secretary General, Ms. Vardinoyannis, for the kind invitation. It's the second time I attend, and the first time to moderate a panel. I think it's really interesting and και πολύ συγκινητικό that I see all the diaspora young people joining, and along with the private initiatives on diaspora community building, to see also a state one. I think it has its own distinctive style and mission. Can I ask what's the time plan? It's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So it's 35. All right. We got a lot of issues to discuss. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. We repurposed the last panel subject from skills in the creative economy and gaming. I'm sure everybody was excited to listen about gaming, but we are parapondidas, so we repurposed that, and we're gonna do a panel, actually, a nice conversation about technology, media, and culture. A lot of TikTok, a lot of social media these days, and I think it's really important to portray and discover the landscape of our cultural identity in the age of AI. So I'm gonna start with who is who. Just grab the mic and kindly, briefly introduce who you are and what you do.
So my name is Stephanos Bolloch. I come from Paris. We were all here last year also, second time here. So I guess we're finishing up with the veterans. I study political science. I'm in a master's in European Public Affairs. And I'm looking to become a diplomat, hopefully, soon.
Hello, my name is Athanassios Kazis. I'm from Boston. I studied history and philosophy at Suffolk University in Boston, and I'm currently applying for law school, so we'll see how that goes.
Hello, also from me. My name is Konta. I'm from Düsseldorf, Germany, and I just finished my bachelor's in media and cultural studies.
Hello guys, I'm Apostolos from Toronto in Canada. Also an aspiring lawyer, just applied as well. I study human biology at the University of Toronto. And I think, Stephan, as you could say, it's like a true Avengers Assemble moment. 4 of us from last year. It's been a great pleasure to meet all of the ambassadors from last year, work with you over the past year, and also meet the new faces this year. So we're very excited to get started.
That's pretty cool. Hope you'll be attending the next one as well. So let's cut to the chase. Let's start with the, I think, most important and basic question. How do you use media to engage with the Greek identity? Starting with you. You want to start with you, Apostolos?
Yes, I could jump right in. We talked a little bit about this during our presentations, but I think social media is a great influence on how we get in touch with our community members. I mean, I can speak on my end from University of Toronto's efforts to connect through social media, specifically Instagram. We have amassed thousands of followers. We send in forms, announcements, and I think really the community expects all sort of updates to be coming through Instagram. I wanted to focus the majority of my time on what we can do. Talked a little bit about it yesterday as well. But I think we can really mobilize, one, the Instagram that we have in terms of the Greek Youth Diaspora Instagram, but also our own pages to further promote the events that are already happening. So we've heard quite a lot of things are happening in Greece, whether it is studying Greece, whether it is the programs that are happening in the summer camps, the language programs. I see no reason why either we can repost them through the MFA Greece pages, through also the diplomatic pages, but also on our own stories as well. Actually, when I advertised some of the things regarding my consulate on my page, people started asking a lot of questions. And so now that I have been uploading things from this event, people are asking me, what are you doing? What are you doing when you're coming back? How do we get involved? And I think it's all about starting a conversation. So, General Secretary and also the youth, current and future, very soon, youth ambassadors, let's work together, all around the globe to create a movement and unite, whether it is on February 9th for Greek Language Day, later on for February or March 25th for the Independence Day. A lot of ideas, and I think TikTok was mentioned right before. I'm not sure if you caught that, but that could be exciting too. Some TikTok dancing perhaps as well, but yeah, right on.
Okay. So coming to TikTok, let's expand the question. I want to ask all of you actually that young creators from Diaspora, traditional media, okay, we have Instagram and TikTok, but what is the way they use the young creators from Diaspora to either preserve or expand the cultural identity, any, innovative ways, any, fun ways, not the, let's build a Facebook group and let's say that we have a conference and we all assemble there. So how do you use in an intuitive, new age way, the social media? You, Korina, Maria,
Sorry.
you start, yeah?
Yeah, so for me, it's like basically all kinds of media, so including movies, theater, music, as well as books and arts and games to preserve the Greek identity, because it is a form of identity building to watch Greek movies or watch movies which include like mythology and other Greek topics of our history, and not only in the diaspora internationally, but also for everyone to involve with the Greek culture and spirit. Because media is not only technology, but it is a cultural practice, and the representation of the Greek values shapes the reality we have from Greece, and that's very important, and it's a very basic thing as to keep the culture alive and to give it to other generations.
That's very thoughtful and very solid. And you, Athanassios?
Yeah, I think there's also an interesting, going off of what Korina said about arts and movies, stuff like that. Also, if we think about music and the difference between how social media is used to connect us, whereas how they do now through algorithms, because those algorithms cater things to you, as opposed to traditional Facebook when it was first conceived of, was a platform that you had to find these things, whereas now things are fed to us, and obviously those have many negatives that we talk about all the time. But there are new ways to discover new artists who want to do interesting things. There's more ways to discover alternative artists, for them to get big, to go viral, in a world that wouldn't have necessarily happened before. It has kind of democratized this this arts industry, so that smaller people don't need the support of these enormous conglomerates to become.
Any cool example of of a Greek, let's say, finding in the social media algorithm labyrinth that you engaged and it was nice and funny? The question is being very innovative with preserving or expanding the identity. Could be like a Mediterranean or a Greek recipe, account. Any examples of Greek identity that you really liked or that you really, are fond of, like a stand-up comedian or, like a person that, imitates Yaya and Papu?
As far as something that came to me, there's a couple of Greek artists that I don't think I would have found out about if I hadn't. That song that came out recently, Panosτα Triadafylia. It has a more folky sound. It's really interesting. She's not a big artist, but that song ended up going viral, and I found it on Instagram, and that's one example of how those things can become larger.
Okay, that's interesting. So.
Επάνω στην Τριανταφυλλία νομίζω ονομάζεται. Μου φαίνεται πιο παλιό.
Now we have to dance and sing in the end, Okay.
I wanted to circle back to what Apostolos answered, which was about how we use social media and how we can use it. In Paris, for example, in the event that we co-organized with Vardis in the in the Greek embassy, we used partly in order to find the people to invite in the event groups that were created also by Aris in part that managed to compile in the group Greeks that are in Paris. And I think that for youth ambassadors, it's important for us to be this relay, basically, between the embassies and the consulates and the young people. Because from the diplomat side, from the embassies, it's important for them to keep in touch and be in contact with young people, but they don't have the actual means to do it sometimes. Because, for example, the social media of the embassy was just followed by a couple hundred people. It's not followed by a lot of people. Twitter, same thing. And so we serve as this relay between them to invite them to the events, to make them public. And they actually, the turnout, even though the event was hosted at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, the turnout was more than, the place.
That's
was
not
full.
very welcoming.
It's not,
you know.
it's not. It would be better if it was in the afternoon, for example, because people are, especially our age, working or studying.
I didn't pick it up. Which app did you use?
It was from WhatsApp or Instagram.
WhatsApp.
Or,
Okay.
yeah.
You said WhatsApp.
Or Instagram also.
Okay.
There are groups with hundreds of Greeks, young Greeks that are in Paris that use these groups for many different things. And so we also use them to find them, invite them, and they came. We were about 60. The room was full, surprisingly. So this is a good tool that we can use in social media in general to be this relay between the embassies, the consulates, and the young people to get them to engage with the diplomats.
And if I may add, I mean,
Yeah. Please chip in.
this is our last panel. This is, well, we have 1 or 2 more days, depending when you guys depart from Athens. But let's keep it going, right? We have the Instagram page set up. I think one of us or a few of us, Demi, I'll show you, I was trying to organize an initiative to collect information in terms of how do we stay in contact. And I really think, okay, yes, talking to people back home and connecting with our diplomatic missions back there is super, super important. And I was hopefully inspiring you yesterday with some of the things we've done in Toronto. But that said too, as I said yesterday, let's keep in touch as a whole. Let's not let this momentum we've created the past 3-4 days pass on, and let's, throughout the year, post some things on the Instagram. Perhaps we could do, as you guys said, day in the life stories. I would love to see what some of you guys are doing around the world, and perhaps we can rotate through a few of the countries. They're just ideas.
That's the spirit. Let's applaud that. That's the spirit.
I don't necessarily consider myself the most...
Bring it on, Apostolos.
Yeah, I don't
Come
consider
on.
myself the most creative, but I'm always down for ideas. And so maybe we can turn it back after this symposium and see what we would want to do through a form or something as well.
So expanding on that thought, how do you use these efforts? How do you use these channels, these avenues, to empower skills, to enhance education of the Greek identity, whether there's language or Greek studies in general with the diaspora, or of the diaspora, or of the diaspora that is not related to Greek studies but is related to the mothership called Greece? It's a general theme, how do you use all these get-together to develop initiatives in terms of skills and education?
I just wanted to add a quick thing to what Apostolos said. Also, we as being here for the second time, which is amazing, we stayed in contact through social media over the last year. We shared photos, texts, and on Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever. And it was so nice to see these guys again this year, and it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much. And it's going to be amazing to see all of you guys again, wherever this would be. And it's a big opportunity we have here to just share thoughts, and that's how we can reconnect and also discuss. Discussion is so important because we share so many experiences, but is different in every country, and it's so important to see other people's thoughts on like matters that matter that are yeah.
No, it's pretty cool what you describe, because it's I guess it's the borders of digital and physical. You know, at some point you have to meet the person, you know, but you know, technology is being used to keep in touch with the person.
Yeah, it felt like no day passed from last year.
Right on, Korina. It's also been great to see you as well, for sure. But really quickly to add on, I think Athanassios had something to say. I think just the general, in the past year, the work I've done, my general motto has been, you know, don't reinvent the wheel. See what's already there. There's a lot of resources that are through, I mean, in my case, through my consulate, through my embassy, through the community stuff I'm a part of in Toronto, through the university, through professors, like Greek professors that teach languages there, through other programs that teach languages there, like GreekLanguage.ca, that's an example in Canada. So let's first ensure that people know of these opportunities that are existing already, which I think the biggest way to do that is through the social media, as I was saying before, as we all have been saying. And then perhaps we can also think about creating new initiatives as well. I don't know, Athanassios, if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I do. Those. I think the other important thing to think about when we're talking about like staying connected, using technology, social media, AI, whatever, to maintain these communities, is that we can't use we need to use these technologies as like tools and not as replacements for what has already existed in humanity for thousands of years, like human interaction, stuff like that. And when a lot of the conversations surrounding AI are talking about replacement, talking about how people are using it in place of these kind of interactions. Like for example, at my work, I work at the district attorney's office, the prosecutor's office in the county above Boston, and there are people who use the technology in place of actual human interaction, human thinking, human lawyering. And I think that would be the only, danger to using these technologies. But as you both said, we stayed in touch for the entire year, and then we get to see each other again. And these are the ones that really do matter. And those technologies are used as tools to allow us to maintain the strings between these important events, I think. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that what you said, like technology and AI and everything has to be used wisely, but it must not replace the core of what the Greek identity is or what we are, I guess, and not get drowned in it. So for the people that were already here last year, we had when the others, you had the film viewing, we had a workshop here about memories. And in one of the games, I guess, that we played was we were listening to sounds, different sounds, and we had to close our eyes and then say what these sounds remind us of. And one of the sounds was a crowded restaurant or whatever. And so everyone immediately said, it reminds us of a Greek taverna or whatever. Greeks are generally considered to be loud, to be very happy, joyful, interact between them. So this is something that even with AI or whatever, we must not lose the physical contact that we have, which makes basically the Greek identity. And all of us, as soon as we heard, it reminded us of being somewhere in Greece, listening to everyone just talking all the time instead of just eating, spending hours in the restaurant.
It's a very nice one. Now, counter up. Okay, question that popped up now. When do you feel, when you use social media and platforms, etc., as a Greek, when do you feel proud? That's a tricky question. It was not in the book.
And it's like when you...
When do you feel proud? Just,
If
we intuitively, I'll give you an example. So I was listening to a TikTok, these podcasters that talk about anything, and they know everything. But I was watching, and he mentioned the Stoics. They were both Americans, and I was like, oh, and I kind of felt proud that there is this reference to the culture from two people in the U.S. speaking wisdom, life coach stuff to each other, but still we're there. So I felt proud as a born and bred Athenian. So how do you feel, and when do you feel proud in the in the technology world, in the social media arena?
If we expand to the larger media, if I may maybe circle back to original theme, because I've been thinking about this the past few days. I really have, when we talk about gaming, two favorite games. The first one might be GTA, and maybe because it reminds me of Athens a little bit. But the second one is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Not GTA 6.
Oh,
It's not out there.
Yeah, we might have a third symposium before GTA 6 at this point. But
it's a conversation between young people. I'm sorry, Mrs. Muir.
But in any case, on an actual serious note, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a game set in ancient Greece, was a game that I was very, very excited about when I was a little bit younger. It came out, I think, when I was in grade 8 or 9, and it really allowed me and my friends also to explore the ancient world. And particularly, I was very proud of the fact that I was able to roam around different parts of Greece. Obviously, being Greek, I myself visited many of these sites. Obviously, now they're in the ancient times, so I was also seeing how people interacted and dressed. And Ubisoft, like the company that developed this game, did a really good job in terms of the cultural, or at least a lot of research into designing their game. And so something that really resonates with me is the Acropolis. Like visiting the Acropolis in the game really made me rethink about how the whole place was full of life and the type
So
of
you felt proud
seriousness, yeah.
immersing virtually
100%,
into a world.
100%. And not only just me. I mean, I played that game when I was younger. At times when I was wanting to have fun. But last year it came back. So 5 years later, last year I took a class at University of Toronto called Greek and Roman Art and Architecture. And in the class, at the end of our Greek unit, our professor brought a console and we explored the site. And it's totally different when you see it in person, obviously, in the state that it is now, when you see it in online models, but also when you're able to walk around, climb all the different parts of the Parthenon, see what it was like when the two statues of Athena were inside and outside of the temple, as well as all the colors. I think that was a really big thing for me. Like I hadn't seen the colors. I mean, I had seen it in the museum, but it's different when you see the whole place of colors.
Extrapolate that 200-300 years down the line, that you record your Yaya's voice, and then your generation listens to the Yaya, of the genre, like 400 years back. So, there are lots of ways to either feel proud or preserve the identity. Really cool with the gaming.
Yeah, so it's the one odd example, but I think even when my friends, they were interacting with the game, Greek and not Greek, it was, for me, always proud to be like, yes, that's,
Korina?
that's where I'm from.
Yeah, for me, I think the moment when I feel the most proud is when I hear my friends who visit Greece a lot, because generally in Germany you like Greece, you go often, you know Greece. And when my friends came back from Crete, and they're saying like, the people are so nice there. We live at a hotel, and the guy from the hotel, they invites them to a taverna, to have rakia, to eat something. And the Greek philoxenia is something I feel very proud of, because it's a very nice thing. And to hear that from my friends or from everyone is a very nice, I feel proud with that.
It's cool. You guys?
I tried to have a moment of being proud in social media, but I have another moment, it's kind of related but different, that was too strong, like feeling proud was too strong. Was during I had a short-term internship in UNESCO this summer, and we talked about UNESCO, we talked about the Greek Language Day. We didn't talk about something else, the fact that Greece also inscribed the Minoan Palatial sites in the World Heritage List, so it became the 20th site for Greece. And So it happened in July, and I was present there. The meeting took place in Paris. General Secretary also was there. And the proudest moment was in this big room, of the United Nations, of UNESCO, with all the different countries around. And before inscribing a country, a site in this list, every country in the committee, so it's 21 countries, so minus Greece 20, have to declare their support, I guess, or not, by a short declaration of 2 minutes to support the inscription of Greece's sites. And so you need just a simple majority to have your site inscribed. Greece was the only country that got all of the countries to support it, even Turkey, or Turkey, that supported Greece. And I remember the ambassador from Kazakhstan, for example, was saying that he remembers when he was young in Kazakhstan, when he grew up, that he was learning about the Minotaur and the labyrinth. And now he's here and voting for the inscription of Greece's site in the World Heritage List of UNESCO. Other ambassadors from Ukraine, for example, greeted in Greek and said Evcharisto or something. So you see that people from all over the world, like Greece has a huge soft power, a very big influence, that it should be something that makes you proud when you're there. Like when you have other ambassadors that actually talk about your country like that, speak in Greek, or even like learned about it when they were young, it makes you feel like you're in the right place in history.
I totally agree. It makes you feel something more than proud. It makes you feel present. You're timeless. Come on, Athanassios. Say it loud.
I actually have a very similar experience to Apostolos with Assassin's Creed, and I would want to connect that to how technology has given us a new avenue to create art. When, like in Assassin's Creed, you can go to Batra and whatever, so I was there, and my Giga's from Aegon, Batra, whatever, our family, and she hasn't been able to come back to Greece for decades, but she was really moved by like being able to see. I was like showing her like Athena Patra. Obviously, Vrachneika wasn't there, but where we have homes. But technology, social media allows us to, like I said before, maintain those connections to places, even when we're not present in them fully. Allows us to keep those alive, so that when we do come back, when we do have these places where we are able to interact human to human, nothing's been lost, and it's much more powerful. So,
To a timeless Greece. So, just a piece of, just a few thoughts on my behalf about skills and education. My advice to every diaspora person here is to also connect with Greek happenings. There are a lot of events. There are a lot of events about culture, tech, contemporary art. There are a lot of things happening in Greece. I would say pay attention, come to Greece. I mean, even in AI, that now is very trendy. There is a Greeks in AI conference like every July, and I think that's also my 5 cents. When it comes to connecting also diaspora to what is taking place in Greece, because now Greece is turning into a hub. And it's very interesting to see all the corridors, geopolitical and financial ones, expanding to Israel, to UAE, to India. It's very interesting, I think, for all of you. Oh, no. I have a feeling that they want to ask me something. I don't know. I just get this feeling.
I have one really quick trick question. Well, I promised you a surprise question. So as a technology lawyer, we talked a lot about AI at this conference. I wanted to ask you what AI you use, if you do, and why.
I'm an ethical person adhering to the Bar Association guidance. So, but off the record, I think there is a lot of people. I know a person from my village that uses AI tools, various AI tools. Gemini 2.5, the last time I met that person. she told me. She also told me that she's using Claude for emails. She also expanded her thoughts about the latest GPT model. There are some sector-based, there are also some Greek stuff, etc. But I would say, you know, anything preparatory and not very important, we're not selling AI advice to our clients, for God's sake. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Thank you. I would like to thank the Secretary General of the Public Diplomacy, exemplary organization, but not as good as next year's. Thank you all.